Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Dr. Heldman at Tech Talk Education. And today I want to go down a little new road here. I want to begin talking about certifications. They are very, very important if you want to work in the information technology industry. It's called IT. And I really encourage you to get as many certifications as you can possibly get that are relevant to your career path. Here is what I've done. So in the past, I went on a big technical certification binge, and in the 90s, I earned my Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer certification. It was, I think it was 6 exams, if I remember right. This was prior to the internet even getting to be a big thing, and so I had to take a networking exam via Microsoft and some other stuff like that. And then I went on and I became a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional. I wrote quite a few study guides for Microsoft certification exams. And then I laid a little while, and so recently, in the last few years, I've started getting back into certifications, and I have quite a few, and I'm on the path to get quite a few more. And so the reason I'm making this movie is A, I want to help you with the pain points that you'll encounter when you're taking certifications. B, I want to show you the certification path that you should probably be thinking about going down if you don't have any certifications at all. And C, I want to convince you to become a lifelong learner. These certifications will renew roughly about every 3 years, so you have to go out and retest and stuff like that. So today what we're going to talk about is what is called, there's a company called CompTIA. It's an organization. They're very famous in the technical certification industry, and I want to talk to you about the very first technical certification that you should get, and it is called Information Technology Fundamentals, ITF Plus. So let's get started. I'm just going to go over the CompTIA ITF Plus cert and the exam, and let's see how you do. I hope you go get it. Talk to you soon. Let's get started. So you can see here that I have my web browser pointed to CompTIA.org. We pronounce it CompTIA. There's an acronym for what the company's name stands for, Computer Technology Information Association. And the .org means that they are a non-profit. They make money, of course, because they have to continue to do the work that they do, creating these certification exams, but they are not in it for profit. Now, CompTIA's big thrust is in the area of creating technology agnostic certification exams. They're quite good at it. They're very highly respected and highly regarded. And so it is to your value to go and get CompTIA certifications. When I say technology agnostic, what I mean is that they are not specifically writing exams for just Microsoft or just Apple or just Linux or things like that. So they understand that it is a very holistic environment that we have here, where we have a bunch of technologies that are working together. And so what they do is they craft certification exams that go take you down a path rather than down a specific technology. I love this about them. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't build these technologies into the exams. They certainly do. For example, if you sit for the ITF Plus exam or the A Plus exam, they're going to give you questions about Microsoft and about Apple and about security and about Linux and things like that. So don't fool yourself into thinking that it doesn't include relevant technologies that are worldwide known, but it does mean that they're exploring the surface of what these technologies are about. That's what makes this company so cool. Now, if you get a chance, go out to what you would do is you would go to Dr. Google and look for CompTIA, and then you would look for a certification roadmap right here. And you will likely get a PDF, which is great. This is a great PDF to keep track of, to download and have. And I want to show this to you. This is always popular with my students. It's always popular with parents, with administrators, because it really gives you the ability to get an eye on what's happening in the certification realm with regard to CompTIA. Now you can see that here in this teal color We've got the cybersecurity track. So the tracks start on the right: infrastructure and cloud, IT service management, data and AI, software development. And then you go way over here to the left. You have beginner, intermediate, advanced, and expert. And the thing that I really love about the certification roadmap is it's not just CompTIA. They're agnostic, so they're not just focused on themselves. They're very, very good about helping you rope in, okay, I want to go into cyber. What do I need to get? I need to get a few CompTIA things. Oh, and I need to get this, and I need to get that. And so they do a really good job with this. So you can see here you've got a little map, and there are little logos here, and there are different letters inside these logos. So some of the stuff is CompTIA, but some of the other stuff will be different companies. For example, if I want to go into cybersecurity, I'm going to go down the beginner track here. It's telling me I need to get my CompTIA ITF Plus. That's the first one you should get. Your CompTIA A Plus, Project Plus, and then maybe Cloud Essentials. And then there's some others here, like Linux Essentials from the Linux LPI Institute. And if you go down here, you can go find LPI and figure out what it means. Oh, that's the Linux Professional Institute, and they have Linux Essentials, LPC1, LPC2, LPC3. And so they're telling you that you probably should think about getting a Linux Essentials right here. And I agree with that. I think that's a very, very good start towards learning Linux administration. And of course, there's a Microsoft Certified Fundamentals exam and so forth, VMware. So that's the idea. So this is the CompTIA certification roadmap. Now listen, your college degree is very, very important to you. I am not going to sit here and say you shouldn't have a college degree, partly because a lot of companies require a college degree just so you can apply for the job. But the certifications are a tiebreaker. They're very, very good for the hiring authority is looking at you and they like your resume, and now they want to make a decision, and you're like, well, I've got these certs. That could be a tiebreaker between you and somebody that is looking equally as attractive but does not have any certs. And I'm not making this up. This does go on. So I don't want you to underestimate CompTIA at all. The other thing that I love, love, love about CompTIA, besides their certification exams, is that they are very focused on research. They have probably one of the most strategic and best research arms in the nation. They do a lot of research for the U.S. government. When CompTIA says something, they're like the Gardner Group or people like that. You should sit up and listen and take notice. And they're very good about monitoring what's happening in the technology workforce. So I love these guys for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the CompTIA website here. And this is the main entry point to the website. And you'll notice here that under certifications, we have ITF Plus. This should be your entry point into IT fundamentals or into information technology. If you've never worked in information technology, this is your go-to right here. And I'll show you what I like about it. So I've worked in information technology a long time, and it takes you a while just to learn the lay of the land. There's a bunch of different jobs, server administrator and developers and database administrators, security admins, project managers, network people, and on and on. And so learning how IT flows and how the whole thing goes together and functions is super, super important. It's going to really give you a leg up in terms of understanding how IT works. And the ITF Plus exam, again, if you don't work in IT, if you work in IT, it's going to make a lot of sense to you already. But if you don't work in IT, this should be your go-to for an exam. So it says it tests basic IT knowledge. It does. It's all about like Microsoft Windows, Macintosh OS. I think they might even talk to you a little bit about Linux. It'll talk to you about some security and some networking, but it doesn't get in depth. What it's trying to do is show you how all of these pieces, parts go together. And so it's very good. So let's go to the overview here and take a look at this. So it says, who would benefit from being in taking the ITF Plus? Well, if you're a student or you're a career changer and you're like, man, I really want to get into IT because that's where the good money is at. Yes, the good money is there. You can make good money in IT. Is it stressful? Oh, yeah, it's super stressful. I've spent the night with servers and telephony systems and customers back during Y2K. Both my wife and I separately spent the night in different data centers because we were worried about what would happen when the clocks changed over and things like that. It's also good for professionals who are working in fields that require a broader understanding of IT. And I agree with that. Let's say that you, for example, work in a hospital. Hospital IT is so interesting. Maybe you're working as, say, working in the area of X-ray technology or something like that, and you're like, man, this technology is really interesting. I want to know more about it. An ITF cert would be good for you. It's good for marketing and sales and operations staff. So it's very good, and that's what you would want to do. Now let's take a look at the exam details here. So this thing, what you have to do is you have to pay for these. I'm going to show you where you go when you're ready to take the exam. So I'm going to grab a new tab here, and you're going to go out to a company called Pearson VUE, Pearson space VUE. These are the big guys. They offer computer-based testing, not just for CompTIA, but for a bunch of different people. They do, Cisco, for example, and they do others. And so Pearson VUE is very good. And what happens is organizations like community colleges and places like that agree to become an authorized Pearson VUE testing center. And so let's say that you've gone through an ITF study guide, and now what you want to do is you want to get into and you want to go register for the exam. So you go out and you look for CompTIA, and there it is. By the way, if you start typing in, you're gonna see a lot of different things that come up. So Pearson VUE is a huge thing. It's a big company. You select CompTIA, and then it says, okay, what do I want to learn? What certification do I want to take? You create an account for yourself. You find a test center, and then you tell it what exam you want to take. So I'll click View Exams here. Here's all the exams that you can take. This guy right here would be the one that you probably should be the very first one that you should take, and it's called ITF Plus. And they give it a number, F Charlie Frank Charlie 0 Uniform 61. That is the number that CompTIA assigns to the exam, and then you register for the exam and take it this way. And there is a cost associated with these exams, so you pay your money up front, put your credit card in, you set up a date and a time, you show up for the exam. They're going to collect all your stuff and put it in a locker. You're not allowed to have anything. They give you a little placemat size piece of plastic with a Sharpie and a dry erase marker for you to take notes if you need to. And there are proctors there. They have cameras in the classroom. Now, I do want to caution you guys, if Pearson VUE during COVID began to offer a remote exam, so you could take it at home. And if I'm being honest with you, I think they're kind of creepy. You have to take your webcam and hold it up around the room. You have to prove to the proctors that are online with you that you don't have anything in there to help you. No posters up on the wall or notes on your desk. I got called out because I had a camera in the back of me that I have there just for decoration. It's an old camera. I don't use it at all. But they said, you've got to put that into a different room. The other part I don't like about it is if you sneeze or if you look away like that, the proctors get really tense, and they're like, hey, if you do that again, we're going to eject you from the exam. So my opinion, if you live out in the boondocks, by all means sign up for the remote exam, but be sure that you understand that they're going to be very serious about the proctoring of the exam, but you're better off to go and take it at a local Pearson VUE site if you can. Okay, let's go back to the IT fundamentals here. So the way to study for this is to probably buy a study guide or to go through some sort of coursework. And there's a lot of ways that you can learn about this. I want to show you my favorite because I really love these guys. Oh, let me stop here. What skills will you learn? IT concepts and terminology. We're full of acronyms. IT has millions of acronyms. Infrastructure, which means how you're going to set things up. PCs, laptops, the network, wireless, things like that. So you could expect some wireless questions. And that's actually gotten pretty complicated over the years. There's a lot to know about Wi-Fi. applications and software, because you're going to have to go ahead and support people that are going to be using software. Like Microsoft Office is a big deal. Google Docs is a big deal. Things like that. So just applications and software. Software development, what's involved with coding, for example. How do coders work? Again, guys, think about it. So ITF Plus is the overview, the big picture of how IT comes together and how it works. And that has evolved as well. That's another topic, but it has evolved. But working in IT is a lot of fun. You can go down to specialty tracks. You could be a generalist. You might wind up managing an IT department at some point. There's a whole area for that. You'll learn some database fundamentals. This is extremely important, learning about databases. And finally, security. Now, how are you going to learn this? Well, let me show you a couple of areas that I would go. First of all, I want you to know about Test Out. I love these guys. CompTIA has their own courseware. So if you come over here and you say, well, you know what, I would like to learn through CompTIA. So you can go to training and you can go to get CompTIA ITF A+ training or something like that. But what I really like is I like Test Out. I'm not a big fan of CompTIA Certiport. I am a pretty big fan of Test Out. And let me show you the course that you're going to take. So the course you're interested in is going to be this one here. I'll scroll down through here, and it's called IT Fundamentals Pro. This is a very, very good course. And what it's going to do, it's designed to run you through and get you ready to go take the ITF Plus exam. And it has a bunch of stuff associated with it. So it's got all this information that we talked about before. You can see that they're focused on exactly the same things that CompTIA is focused on. And in fact, they're so good that CompTIA acquired this company back in 2023. So now what CompTIA is doing is they're going through the effort of making Test Out look like CompTIA and CompTIA look like Test Out, if you understand what I'm talking about. So I highly recommend Test Out. I think these guys do a good job and they're very good at it. So you could purchase this course this way and go through it this way. Now, what are you going to get when you go through this? Well, you're going to get the facts. So they're going to have sheets that are called fact sheets that show you what to expect when you go through a technology. What are all the important points of a technology? What are all of the CompTIA exam objectives? So they have an objective sheet. They have quizzes and exams. And their biggest thing, they have videos, and the videos change. So they have a cast of different characters that announce these different videos. They're very good, and they show you what you should be doing. They show you online the technologies. As you're going through the video, you can stop and start it and go back. You can translate it. You can also, if you are deaf, you can have it come out and print it out for you as they're talking. And then they also have what's called Lab Sim. It's right here. And so let me show you just a little bit of what this looks like. So I'm going to log in here to Lab Sim. And I love this. I love this company. I've been with them 12 years. I don't work for them. I've done a lot of teaching with these guys. They have really helped me teach a bunch of kids over the years. Let's go find that. Here's IT Fundamentals Pro. So this is what it's going to look like. They give you the exam information, and then this is a quiz. So this is finding out what do you know. You also have the ability to go to the outline here, and you can see that it's focused on a course overview, and here's information technology basics, and so forth. And here's what I was talking about before. So you have quizzes, you have labs, you have your file formats, sound and video, things like that. And then you have your lab. So let's see if I can go down and show you just one quick little lab here somewhere. Here is a fact sheet. For example, this is what I was talking about with facts. So you get a lot of really cool facts. You also get the introduction here. This will be a movie that you get. I'll play just a little tiny bit of this so you can see what this looks like.
For a computer system to function, three very different things need to work together.
That's the idea, and you'll change between the different narrators. There's 6 or 7 of them. They're really good about changing them out. They're very, very focused on making sure that you're comfortable. You can go to the interactive script. You can change the amount of time. You can close caption the video. It's really cool. And then if I select something like this, OS interfaces, that's another movie. Here's my facts, Windows settings, facts, and so forth. And then here's what a lab looks like. So I'll go to a lab here. It looks like a little TV. No, that's another movie. I'm looking for a lab here. Oh, here it is. Enable VT in the BIOS. So this is what a lab looks like. And so I'll start the lab, and I don't want to show you a whole lot of it because I want you to purchase the course. But this is what the interface looks like. You have to do something over here and make something happen. And then you score the lab. And sometimes as you're going through a lab, you'll have to answer questions. So that's what it looks like. And it's called Lab Sim. Really, really love this interface. It's very good. I'm going to go ahead and score it and go with 0 points because I'm not going to go through that. I already have my ITF Plus. Now that's one area that you could go. You could go to Test Out to get your ITF training. Another area that you might want to go is go to udemy.com. Udemy is what is called a MOOC. It's massively online open courseware. I love Udemy because these guys are really super inexpensive. They offer a lot of sales on their classes. Their classes are pretty thorough. And what this is people like me who create these kinds of videos, but these guys create an entire course. And so it's just random people throughout the world that feel like they have something to offer in terms of education. And they make the effort to record a course. So let's look and see if CompTIA has any ITF Plus courses out here on Udemy. And so we find out, oh, look at this. There's a whole bunch of them. So here's ITF Plus. It's $85. And here's this guy. And they give you the reviews on the courses. And then how many people have keyed in reviews and how long they last. So this guy here is 14 hours, 175 lectures. That's for a beginner. There's 3 people involved, which is really cool. So Udemy might be a route you might want to go. You might want to shoot for your ITF Plus by going through Udemy. And dollar for dollar, I really don't know because we buy a volume license for Test Out at the school I teach at. But I think dollar for dollar, probably Test Out is going to be as inexpensive as something like a Udemy. Now, another route you might consider going would be YouTube. And I love YouTube. I record YouTube videos. So I love it. I'm on it every day. But if I'm looking for CompTIA ITF Plus and I hit enter, you can see that there are people offering courses out here. Like this guy has had 266,000 views, which is enormous. And he's offering an ITF Plus full course. So you could go that route and it's not going to cost you a nickel. So there's a lot of ways to get something like the CompTIA ITF Plus cert. And so what are the pain points? Well, I want to talk to you about a couple of things as you're taking CompTIA exams. First of all, you have to go to a Pearson VUE testing center. So you have to make arrangements to go there. You've got to go there on their time. The one that's closest to me is in a community college, so they are closed for certain holidays. So you're not going to be able to go take this like on Thanksgiving Day, for example, because the school's going to be closed. Also, if you are under 18, you're going to have a guardian or a parent or somebody go with you that is over 18 and accompany you to the exam. You're going to have to provide 2 sources of identification. A credit card will be sufficient for one, and then, of course, your driver's license or a passport or something like that. You'll have to put all of your stuff in a locker. You're not allowed to go in with anything, including a smartwatch. So that's going to go in the locker. You're going to go into this room. There's going to be like 12 or 15 computers in there. And there's going to be a proctor that's able to look through the windows. They're looking through cameras at you. And they're going to log you on. And then you're going to take the exam. Now, as you're taking the exam, what I want you to do, promise me that you will do this, is that you will mark every question for review. Generally speaking, I mark every question for review, even if I'm 100% confident that I know that's the correct answer for that exam, that particular question. And what will happen when you do that is you have the ability to go back and then review every question. So likely as not, you're going to blast through this exam and say 2/3 of the time that you have for the exam, allotted for the exam. But then what you can do is you can go back, and if you have questions where you're like, ooh, I don't know, both of these look really good, what's going to happen is your brain is going to set that aside and work on it while you're going through the other questions. And when you get back to review on that question, it could be that you decide, nope, I remember something about this, and I think this is the answer, not this one, and you might change it. I have definitely done that before, and I think it has helped me before. So I want you to make sure, at least on the ones you don't know, be sure you mark them for review so that you can go back and review them, because if you don't, you're toast. You can't go back and review those questions. You just got to move forward. So also, make sure that you're studied up, that you're reviewing all of the practical sheets that you have, the detail sheets, go back and review your quizzes and exams and things like that. So you're really ready for this. These exams are pass-fail. So if the green bar is longer than the red bar, it used to be that they'd display a green bar, and if it was longer than the red bar, you passed, and if it was shorter than the red bar, you failed. They don't do that anymore. But I always tell people, if the green bar is longer than the red bar, don't worry about it. You passed the exam, you got the cert, everything's good. But if you don't, you're going to have to take it over again. And what you're going to do is you're going to go back and restudy for the exam, and you got to put another whatever amount of dollars in to take the exam again and go back and take it. Now, I should tell you, I'm telling you the truth, I took the Windows Server exam 6 times, and I was about in tears. Every time this was back when you didn't have cell phones, I would go out to the restaurant next door and use the payphone and call my wife and be, honey, I didn't pass the exam. I'm so sorry. And I'd have to pay another whatever amount it was. Finally, I passed the dang thing. And so it may be like that for you. You've got to make up your mind that you're going to pass this exam. A pain point is when you fail it. It's very disappointing, and you're like, oh, I'm not cut out for this. That's not true at all. You are cut out for it. It's just going to take you a little more time. Please be sure that you go back and retake the exam and get that one knocked out, and then put the next one on the road for you. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move away from the web, and I'm going to go to a chart that I have made for you that I want to show you what your path should be in terms of starting to study for these certification exams. So let's go do that now. Okay, I'll take just a quick couple of minutes to go over this path. This is a path that I think you would want to lay out for yourself, something like this. And the deal here is that if you have goals and you have a certification path written down, you've got it taped next to your bed, you've got it on your medicine cabinet, wherever, your refrigerator, to remind yourself of the path that you're going down, it's going to really help you. So starting at the bottom, we talked about this, your ITF Plus. I didn't reverse these, I should have reversed these. But your first one is going to be ITF Plus, Information Technology Fundamentals Plus. Then you should look at the A Plus exam. A Plus is for people that want to get in and become a PC technician, working in information technology and supporting customers. There are actually 2 exams in the A Plus sector, Core 1 and Core 2, and they do a lot of examination questions regarding how you support customers. So there's a support methodology, a bunch of questions that are in there as well. Network Plus is very, very important. If you're going to work in IT, it doesn't matter if you're going to be a developer, a database administrator, you're going to work on the networks, whatever, you have to have a robust understanding of how networks go together and how they work. I think Network Plus is very, very important. I didn't put this on the list, but a Cisco certification that would be important for you would be the Cisco Certified Network Associate. Let me write this up here. I'm going to put this down. Cisco Certified Network Associate. It's called the CCNA, and it is the entry point for Cisco devices. Cisco is the big dog on the planet with regard to routers and switches, networking. So it's a very important company. There's a lot to know about Cisco devices, and so that would be something that you would want to target, especially if you thought that you liked working with networking devices. Then I think Linux is very important. So Linux Plus is a good cert. You don't need to start out with Linux Plus. I've put the Linux Professional Institute Linux Essential cert here, and you could view that as just like you do ITF Plus, like it's the entree into Linux, and then you get that, and then maybe look at your Linux Plus. But these are great, and boy, I'll tell you, there's a lot of jobs for people that know how to administer Linux servers. And then Security Plus is really getting to be hot in the information technology industry. Regardless of whether you want to work in a cybersecurity career or not, it's a very, very important cert. So it's something that I think you should get. As you're going along then, and you've accumulated these certs, the next things to think about would be cloud certs. So there are two. So Cloud Essentials Plus is a CompTIA cert that is just a basic overview of the cloud, which is good. There's a lot to know about the cloud. And the reason why cloud is so very, very important today is because everybody and their dog has moved a lot of their equipment from a data center where they're paying thousands of dollars to heat and to cool and to run these machines and these thousands of servers, and they wash their hands of the business and they let somebody else do it. And so the cloud is super important. There's three big players. Amazon Web Services is the big dog. They have the big market share right now. And then Microsoft has a cloud environment called Azure, which is very, very big, and there's a lot to know. And then Google has a cloud environment that's called Google Cloud Platform. So these three are something that you should be concentrating on. That you should put on your path. But to get there, you got to know how the cloud is set up and how it works. And so Cloud Essentials Plus is good for that. Cloud Plus is the next one up in the CompTIA line for cloud work. But what I would target then is I would target my Amazon Web Services Certified Cloud Practitioner. I call it the CCP. It's not the Chinese Communist Party. We call it the AWS CCP. The next one up from that is called the AWS Certified Solutions Architect. That's a very, very good cert. And then I think there are 7 total certs, so there are ones above that. Also, you can think about maybe getting your Google Cloud Digital Leader certification, and this is Google's entry into learning about GCP, the Google Cloud Platform. And so that's the way that I would go. And then your Linux Microsoft Azure Administrator would be something that you might target. Now, just like with the other courses, Azure has some beginning places that you can go. And the way to get started with Microsoft, I'm going to go back to my web page here and show this to you, because I want to show you that there's something called Microsoft Learn. And I'm not the hugest fan because it's very text heavy. There's just a lot to read. However, you can see all the paths that they have for you. There's a bunch of paths that you can choose to go down. And this is a really, really good way for you to learn Microsoft products. Microsoft is a big, huge, important company. They're doing a lot of great things, as is Amazon, as is Google, as is Apple. These are huge companies with billions, if not trillions of dollars of R&D money, and so they just keep pushing forward. That is the other pain point that I want to talk to you about. You're going to wind up having to retake exams. So if you've got 15 certs, these certs are going to expire, and so you've got to do something about it. Now, CompTIA has come up with a thing called concurrent enrollment, and so they want you to continue getting certs, and as you get a new cert, then that fulfills your CE requirements for this lower cert. But whatever it is, you've got to understand that these certs are going to expire and you have to recertify. That's going to be a big pain point for you. I like it because what it does is it keeps you ahead of the crowd in terms of staying ahead of the technology, because let me clue you, this stuff changes every nanosecond. It's really impressive. Okay, well, that's all I've got. I hope this is helpful. I didn't actually go through the ITF exam or some of the ITF courseware with you, but I did want to talk to you about what the ITF exam is all about and help you maybe flesh out a path towards earning these all important technical certifications. And yes, in a lot of cases, you got to have some sort of a bachelor's degree. My degrees are in business administration. My technical certs made the difference for me. Just an FYI, if you've got a history degree or whatever, you might be able to maximize that. Okay, that's all I've got. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you in the next movie.